Shalom, it's Tehila from the Kifar with our Hebrew verb lessons, and this is lesson number 33. We are going to learn another present tense conjugation of the Hifil binyan using the verb that means to copy to illustrate that pattern. And so the last video was actually a review of the three patterns that we've done so far, so we'll go over them really quickly here. So we have our regular group, and this is our le-ha-i. That's the sound pattern of the infinitive. So you get rid of the lamed and you're left with hirgish, okay, that double ee sound that you hear in hifil verbs. And if you just switch the hey with the mem, we get margish. So we go from lehargish in our infinitive to margish, masculine singular, margisha, feminine singular, margishim, masculine plural, and margishot, feminine plural. Okay, so you're essentially just taking the masculine singular and then adding a, im, and ot. Then the second group, we call this the A group, because instead of that initial sound being an a, as in margish, it's actually e, as in mevin. So you get rid of that lamed, hevin, and you switch out the he with a mem, so we get mevin. Mevin, again, the a instead of an a. So mevin, mevina, that a turns into a shava sound, mevinim, and mevinot. And then our last group is the ones that start with o as opposed to a. So our infinitive for the regular group, lehargish. For the A group, lehavin. So they have the initial leha sound. Whereas for the O group, the initial sound is leho as opposed to leha. For example, lehorid. So horid, and you just replace that hey with a mem. So we get morid, morida, moridim, and moridot. So just like with the regular group, we're essentially just taking the masculine singular and then adding a, im, and ot. So now let's continue on. We are going to use the verb leha'atik to illustrate the pattern for hifil verbs that have 4 syllables as opposed to the regular 3. So we have lehargish, 3 syllables, lehavin, 3 syllables, lehorid, 3 syllables. But now we have here leha'atik, 4 syllables. So the first step, as always, is to get rid of that initial lamed, and then we're just going to use this chunk, he'etik. So we're now going to think of this piece in terms of our infinitive, the way that we have our regular verb group. So where we have leha'atik, all we're going to do is switch out the hey for the mem, just like we did for the regular group when we had lehargish, and the hargish turned into margish. So ha'atik is going to turn into ma'atik, and then ma'atika, ma'atikim, and ma'atikot. So this pattern is actually the same exact pattern as the regular group. We just have an extra syllable, but you're following the same exact rules where you're switching out the ha for ma, and then you're adding an a, im, and ot ending, depending on whether it's feminine singular, masculine plural, or feminine plural. So we have ma'atik for masculine singular. Again, we went from leha'atik to ma'atik. Then we have ma'atika, and then ma'atikim, masculine plural, and ma'atikot, feminine plural. So to go through it again, hu ma'atik, which is he copies or he is copying. He ma'atika, she copies or she is copying. Anachnu ma'atikim, and there are those 4 syllables again. We're just swapping out the ma instead of ha. And hen matikot, which is they, feminine, copy or are copying. And remember that Hebrew doesn't make a distinction between present simple and present progressive. So whether it's something that you do generally, like he copies, or something that you are doing right now, he is copying, it would be the same conjugation in Hebrew. So hu matik, matika, matikim, and matikot. And before we get into the exercise verbs, just a reminder that I have live monthly Q&A sessions. You can ask questions on the verbs. You can practice using the verbs in actual context. They take place twice a month. You can come to one or both, depending on what you sign up for. So definitely check out my Patreon, and I hope to see you at one of the sessions. So now for your exercise verbs, you're going to use what we learned today, this 4-syllable hifil verb pattern, to conjugate leha'achil, which is to feed, okay, leha'achil, there you hear those syllables. And the second verb is leha'arich, which is to evaluate or to value or to appreciate, okay? So leha'achil and leha'arich are your exercise verbs. And that wraps it up for today's lesson. Toda ala tzfiya. Like and share this video. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of the others, okay? So I'll see you for the next lesson. Lehitraot.